What if the worst chapter of your life is actually writing the best version of you? What if every door that slammed in your face, every path that led nowhere, every moment you felt hopelessly behind was not a punishment, but a preparation? Science tells us something remarkable about the human brain. It never stops rewiring itself. Every new skill, every failed attempt, every uncomfortable experience physically changes the neural pathways inside your mind. So what if the years you spent wandering were not wasted at all? What if they were the training ground for something extraordinary? This is the story of Elias, a man who spent 8 years looking like a failure, while secretly becoming the most valuable person his world had ever seen. Elias was 25, educated, hardworking, and completely lost. While his childhood friends were building businesses, raising families, and earning respect, Elias was drifting. He tried farming for 6 months and felt nothing. He worked at the trade market for a year and left feeling hollow. He attempted teaching at the village school and walked away without answers. The whispers followed him everywhere. Smart boy, no direction. His own father would look at him across the dinner table with tired, disappointed eyes and ask the question that cut deepest. Son, when will you finally become someone? Elias had no answer because he genuinely did not know. But here is what nobody saw. While Elias looked lost on the outside, something extraordinary was quietly happening inside him. He spent 3 years learning woodcraft under a master carpenter named Silas, studying how raw timber carried hidden beauty within its grain. Then he moved to the ironworks, spending 2 years under a blacksmith named Roland, learning how extreme heat and pressure transform weak metal into something unbreakable. Then he studied under the village scribe, learning to transform complex thoughts into words that moved people. By the time Elias turned 33, he had trained under 5 different masters and completed none of those apprenticeships. His younger brother owned land and had a family. Elias owned nothing, or so everyone believed. One cold evening, the village elder stopped him in the square. 33 years old, the elder said, not cruelly, but plainly. When does the wandering stop? That night, alone in his small cottage, Elias broke down completely. He stared at his hands, roughed from woodwork, scarred from ironwork, stained with ink, and whispered to the empty room, 8 years. And I have nothing to show. But the very next morning, everything changed. Old Roland, the blacksmith, called him over and looked at him with eyes that finally saw clearly. Do you know what you actually are? Roland asked. Elias said quietly, a failure. Roland laughed a deep, knowing laugh and shook his head. You are the rarest thing in this entire village. Your brain has been rewiring itself for 8 years. You have 5 masters living inside one mind. 3 weeks later, a wealthy nobleman arrived, seeking a craftsman to build a grand estate, gate requiring carved wooden panels, decorative ironwork, and inscribed family histories carved into stone. Every specialist in the village admitted they could only provide one piece. Elias stepped forward and said calmly, I can do all 3. The square erupted in laughter. But the nobleman saw something steady in Elias's eyes and gave him 30 days. What followed was nothing short of breathtaking. Day by day, Elias poured 8 years of invisible work into that gate. His hands remembered every lesson. His mind connected skills that had never before existed together in a single person. On the 30th day, when the covering was removed, the entire village fell completely silent. The nobleman ran his hand across the work slowly and said, This is the work of a master. Elias replied simply, I spent 8 years building myself in silence. Everyone thought I was lost. I was becoming. If you are reading this feeling behind, feeling lost, feeling like everyone else figured out the map and you are still searching, understand this truth. You are not failing. You are being forged. Every skill you are collecting, every uncomfortable experience you are surviving, is rewiring your brain in ways you cannot yet see. Work on yourself in silence. Stay consistent when no one is watching. Because the person who looks lost today is often exactly the master the world desperately needs tomorrow.